Identity, arguably the most complex subject in a person's life. There are many theories surrounding identity and whether it's given or created. Some believe that identity is directly associated to their inheritance and ethnicity. Others believe that identity is always changing throughout a person's life. The problem? Identity isn't always created by one entity. Although identity can be formed in many ways, identity is created by factors such as memories, wealth, and politics. Memory shapes and influences identity throughout the entirety of a person's life. Many people take memory for granted. It's hard to imagine life without it. Memory is one of the most influential aspects of identity. Without memory, life as a whole would be very different. John Locke developed a theory in 1690 called memory theory, and according to Hank Green from Crash Course, personal identity exists over time because you retain memories of yourself at different points, and each of these memories is connected to the one before it. This theory basically proves that memory is essential to identity. Without one, the other would simply not exist. Memory is not only a primary influencer of identity, but a building block for other impactful characteristics. For example, the socialization aspect of identity is directly associated with memory. The ability to remember past experiences with people tell the person whom and what they like. Wealth is a major contributor in the creation of identity. Money has always had a huge effect on personal identity and identity as a whole. Although Max Weber was credited with the creation of social class in the late 1800s, society has had economic classes for thousands of years. According to Britannica, social class, also called class, a group of people within a society who possess the same socio-economic status. All across the world, people are divided into classes based off of income. These classes are called the lower, middle, and upper classes. According to new data from Northwestern Mutual 2018 Planning in Progress, which found 68% of Americans consider themselves middle class, down 2% from last year. This statistic is an example of how people choose to identify based off of class and wealth. Politics are one of the most influential factors of identity. Politics indirectly and directly affect people throughout their entire lives. In the United States and in numerous other countries, people tend to identify as either liberal, conservative, or moderate. Liberal or left-leaning typically implies that a person is open to change and ready to discard past beliefs and traditions. Conservative or right-leaning implies that a person believes that traditions are important and change should be looked at cautiously. A person who identifies as moderate is seen somewhere in between liberal and conservative. Every political system has groups of representatives known as political parties. In the United States, these parties are called Democrat and Republican. The name Democrat implies someone who is liberal and vice versa. These groups can create comfort zones that limit relationships from opposing groups. For instance, some Republicans might be opposed to being friends with a Democrat. There are many instances where political arguments between party patrons have led to physical altercations and name-calling. These passionate affiliations impact a person's identity in very unique ways. Mark Whitmore was born in Panama City, Panama. Throughout his entire life, he has lived in 3 different countries, 3 states, and several cities. When asked, do politics affect identity, he had this to say. Absolutely. Many children inherit their parents' political values and traditions. Also, the effect of politics on identity can form a bias in a person's mind about other groups or individuals. In conclusion, identity can be formed from factors such as memories, wealth, and politics. That being said, identity can be formed in many ways and is not limited to these factors. Identity is such a broad subject that in order to close in on typical factors that affect identity, further research will need to be observed.